Welcome back to Headliners. I'm Leo Carson. I'm still here with Lewis, the mug merchant Schaefer, and Nick, the big dog Dixon, kicking off this section with Monday's Times. And Baroness Warsi has accused the Tories of anti-Muslim racism, which is interesting because Islam isn't a race, Nick.
Correct, Leo. So Tories see Muslims as fair game, says Baroness Warsi, and she is the former chairwoman, surprisingly, of the Conservatives. And unfortunately, this is basically lies and sophistry. So she says that she said there was a clear display that anti-Muslim racism is tolerated within the Conservatives. And again, as you pointed out there, she's conflating race and Islamophobia, this word. And I shared a Christopher Hitchens clip that's doing well on X because people... It was very, very interesting. He talked about when that word was introduced. He said, this word's being introduced and it will be used as if it's an accusation of race hater, and really it's just criticising a very extreme religion. Now, whether you agree with his characterisation of Islam, the point is there's a massive difference between saying, you hate black people versus, I have some qualms with the Catholic doctrine of transubstantiation. So they're very, very different things. And she's doing it again here when she says, we rightly don't allow Labour to acquiesce in anti-Semitism. Why do we think we can on Islamophobia? Because they're not the same thing. Anti-Semitism means not liking Jewish people. Islamophobia is a made-up word that is used to stop people criticising Islam who may have legitimate criticisms. So it's not the same at all. And what's really shocking about all this is I just saw Adil Ray, OBE, and Warsi is doing the same thing here. Sunak released a statement because MPs felt threatened by Islamic extremists. And in that statement, he didn't manage to mention Islam at all, as I've said. He just said extremism and terror threats. Could have been the IRA. But that's not good enough for them. They then said, why has he not mentioned Islamophobia in that statement? It's like, it's a statement about MPs feeling under threat. And you're more worried about Islamophobia. So it's kind of absurd. It's a kind of Trumpian negotiating tactic. They're coming with such an absurd offer, which is you've got to always make the Islamophobia the main point.
Which always seems to happen. I mean, even the Speaker of the House, Lindsay Hoyle, after an MP had to step down because of threats to him and his family,
Mike Freer.
He was talking about Mike Freer. Lindsay Hoyle was talking about the far right and white supremacists, as if that's a huge issue with terror attacks and white supremacist grooming gangs and all the rest of it, Lewis.
But what Islamophobia is the fear of Islam. And technically, that's what the word phobia means.
Like arachnophobia.
It's arachnophobia.
But if an Islamic extremist came scuttling out from underneath the couch, I think I would jump.
That's not... This is very interesting to me, this story, because what I've noticed is how there's kind of an equity involved now between the Jewish situation and now the Palestinians, where this woman is saying, hey, I feel that there's prejudice against me, people saying things against me because I'm a Muslim. And it's like the exact same thing that the Jews always say. It's like they've taken the playbook from the Jews.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's the same thing like in Israel, they're saying the Jews are exterminating the Palestinians.
Right.
That there's a Holocaust. It's saying, look at us, the Jews are doing to us what was done to the Jews.
But it's an incredibly unsuccessful Holocaust because the population of Gaza has exploded over the last... exploded's probably the wrong word to use in that context, but it's greatly increased over the last few decades.
But that doesn't mean that these Palestinians aren't feeling this. That doesn't mean that this woman, even though we would say, I don't see it, she actually might see it.
Yeah.